Our very special guest for this segment of Reaching Out is Elsie McCabe. She is the president of the New York City Mission Society. Welcome to Reaching Out.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
You have a distinguished career in public service, most recently as the longtime president of the Museum for African Art, and a few years back, chief of staff to then Mayor David Dinkins. And your husband, of course, for those who don't know, is the former controller, Bill Thompson. What brought you to the Mission Society?
When I was in law school, I was, what made law meaningful to me was not in the classroom. What made it real was working with people. So I did a lot of work with the Harvard Legal Aid Bureau, Jamaica Plain Legal Services, and I spent most of my time as a tenant organizer. So it was a natural for me. Working on the campaign was lots of fun because I got to advocate for something I believed in and someone I believe in.
The Mission Society has been around for 200 years. For those of us who do not know what the Mission Society is, can you tell us, one, where you're located, and two, what do you do?
Well, where we're located is a two-part story. We were for near over a century on 22nd and Park Avenue, and we sold our portion of the building, and I insisted that we move uptown to be among the people we serve. 93% of our staff lives and works in the communities that we serve. That's why we moved up. It also allowed us to increase our endowments. What do? I'm the president of the Mission Society, and I went there because public service is in my DNA. Literally, you have to, if you really want to do it well and do it right, you have to live it and breathe it, and I do. The Mission Society, I was talking to a number of nonprofits, and I heard that the Mission Society was looking. I pulled out of several searches and said, I want to go to work for the Mission Society.
Now, when you said you were located on Park Avenue and 22nd Street, was that the same building that the Community Service Society was located in?
Yes. The Community Service Society and Children's Aid were our progeny, if you will. They came out of the Mission Society. We're over 200 years old. I like to tell people that when we're how old are we? We're older than, the Statue of Liberty. So when, she raised her arm and graced the New York Harbor, welcoming, the world's poor, homeless, and hungry, we were already there doing the work. That's the Mission Society.
Now, you have many programs in the Mission Society, but they mostly focus on children and young adults. Can you tell us about some of those programs and what those programs entail?
We have a variety of programs. Our principal focus, as you said, is children and young adults. My personal particular interest is education, because how we're going to turn around poverty is to help with education. If 93% of our students are in failing schools, and it's not because the teachers are failing them, that's not the issue. It's not because their parents are failing them, that's not the issue. Their parents, or parent in most cases, is struggling working 2 and 3 jobs. Their teachers are, struggling with, over class size and not enough, basic supplies to meet the needs of their class. It's the whole, panoply of social, injustice that happens with poverty. And so why are they attending failing schools? Because our schools have too many kids in too few classrooms, in 6 schools in one building, where kids are tripping over each other. that's part of the problem of, the endemic problem associated with poverty. So it makes what we do after school even more paramount, because fundamentally kids need more time on task. They need more education, so they need an educational partner who will work with their schools, their teachers, and their parents to make sure that they don't fall between the cracks, because most kids who grow up in dire poverty raise kids growing up in dire poverty. The only way to break that cycle is through education.
Now, what would you propose that the school system do, as opposed to having 6 schools in one building and children tripping over each other? What is the answer, or what do you propose that we should be working toward?
The biggest problem in New York is land. The school construction authority can build more buildings, but it also, my husband's Bill is working on the governor's housing commission. He chairs it, and helping find and finance affordable housing opportunities for people across the state, but particularly in this city, is of paramount importance, because if a kid is living in an overcrowded home with wafer-thin walls, and they have to worry about whether or not there's a bullet coming through the sheetrock, they're not going to sleep very well. And frankly, if they can stay awake during the school day the next day, they're going to be struggling and distracted. So it's not just building more schools. It's building more affordable housing. It's a whole lot of things that will turn around the nature of poverty. I know it's something that Mayor de Blasio is working on. It's certainly something that Governor Cuomo is working on. And unfortunately, there's no simple solution, but allowing kids, finding creative ways for children to have more time on task, to have more opportunities to learn, beyond the traditional school day.
Some of your programs are happening inside public schools. How does that work, and which students receive this enrichment?
We have 2 types of programs. City-funded programs, in which case the city selects our students for us. We're in a half dozen different elementary, middle, and middle schools, and we're also in 5 different transfer high schools for the overcredited, overage, undercredited teen. And it goes from about 16 to 21 on average. In our after-school programs, we'd love to be able to pick the most deserving kids, meaning those who need our services most, but we don't get to pick. We do have other programs, one of which I'm particularly proud of because we started it in the last year. It's called GREO, Global Rhythms in Our Tribe. We've started it in partnership with a dear friend, someone I look up to, and I don't look up to a whole lot of people, but he's someone I look up to. Arturo Farrell, he's a Grammy Award-winning musician, composer, educator. They moved into the Minnesink Townhouse with us, and they have jointly designed this music program. It's a STEAM program, science, technology, engineering, art, math, because music is all of that. And that is a free program to middle and high school students in the community. It takes place at Minnesink on 142nd and Malcolm X. If you're interested, call us at 212-674-3500 and say you're interested in enrolling your child.
That's
it's
very
a great
important.
program.
How about a website? Do you have a website?
nycmissionsociety.org. Please, by the way, if you're an alumna, feel free to sign up, and we consider you an alum if ever you went to one of our camps, participated in any of our programs. We'll claim you.
Okay. Music is very important because a lot of the schools couldn't afford a music program. I know some of the high schools couldn't afford a music program. And that was a way of children, one, staying after school, learning how to play instruments, two, giving them something else to do, and three, we never know what talent would develop from teaching a child music. We could have the most gifted musician. We won't know it because that child never got a chance to play.
I call it a STEAM program because it's not just about music, and the kids are learning to read music. They're making their own instruments. You know, if it's a trumpet or a trombone, we give it to them while they're in the program. But it's also learning about the science of sound and the math of music, because music is math, but understanding how sound travels. That's physics. You know, you don't have to tell a fifth grader that they're learning math and physics. They just have a great time.
Right,
and
right.
We've been told by parents, I don't have to push my kid to go to the GREO after-school program. They're dying to go because they have fun. So if you make learning fun, that's the goal of experiential education. Particularly a lot of our kids, they've been drilled, punished for getting wrong answers, belittled. And here with music, there really aren't wrong answers. Everybody plays some wrong notes, and it's fun. You learn also something about your cultural origins. And for a kid to learn something about who they are and where they've come from, whether you're a black kid, or a brown kid, a purple kid, to learn something about who your people are. The nice thing about Afro-Latin jazz, it touches so many of us.
We have 30 seconds left. Anything you want to say in the last 30 seconds?
This year for our gala, one of the people we're honoring is my good friend Arturo Farrell. So if you're interested in supporting Arturo, interested in supporting us, go to our website. Our gala is on April 13th at the Mandarin Hotel. Arturo will be there, and we'll all be singing his praises. We're crossing our fingers. He's up for 2 Grammy. He has 2 Grammy nominations for this cycle. He's already won in the past, but I'm counting on him winning again. He certainly deserves it.
And tell our listeners and viewers, how could they donate to the Mission Society?
Oh, that's easy. All they have to do, nycmissionsociety.org, and click donate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our very special guest, Elsie McCabe Thompson, president of the New York City Mission Society. Thank you for coming on Reaching Out.
Thank you.